Greetings, this is Mr. Solomon, another edition of Teacher Gaming Desk. This is episode 5, where we will explore electric Shocktopus. I'm sharing each lesson in the order that these were shared with students throughout the course of the 2017-2018 school year. So each episode you're seeing is exactly how I shared each of the games on Teacher Gaming Desk. So I'm going to log in with my account, which I've created. And then once logged in, I go to the Teach section, which is already highlighted, and then I will find Electric Shocktopus. So if you'll notice that there's little stars that you can favorite some of your games. So I have so far chosen 10 games, and you can see my progress. So I've already done a lesson in Life of Brian. There's Switching Glitch, Faz Game, Gravity Simulator, Machineers, and here is Electric Shocktopus. So this teaches electricity and magnetism. I'm going to preview the lesson, give students an introduction. I will then start the lesson, and then we'll play the game in just a minute. So, learn about electrical charges. We always start with the lessons. Do a brief introduction of what it means to have positive and negative charges, how they react to one another. This has been one of students' favorite games, by the way. So electricity is at the core, but it really teaches kids how to solve problems as well. And so once we go through the introduction, you can always go to the official website to learn more about the game. Then we click on play, and that's when students will begin to log in. So now I'll go to my Teacher Gaming Desk app, which I've already signed in. And you can see that there is now a lesson in progress. So since I've started the lesson on a browser, then the application shows that a lesson has been begun. So I'm going to play as if I was a student, and I will launch the game and start to play. The basic controls are the arrow keys and the shift key. Timing is everything with this game. So the object is to take your little Shocktopus and make sure that he can get out of each area. So as soon as the game loads, we'll come back and we'll check it out. Now that I've got the home screen for Electric Shocktopus, you can see it plays in full screen. I'm going to click on Let's Rock. I've already played some levels, but I will start at level 1 just to give you an idea. So tap any key to advance. So I use my arrow keys to move along. I jump, clicking the up key. I turn on a shock by clicking the shift key. So I'm going to move across. You can see that I've died. So learning timing. Shift key very important. And then once you get to the doorway, that is the end of that level. Choose the down arrow, move on to the next level. So I'll play a couple levels just to give you an idea. Each level introduces a new concept. So now we're learning about positive charges. So then if I go across, you can see that my bottom is breaking. I've died a couple times. I'm using the up arrow. And so then if you use the shock by pressing shift while you see those positive charges, you can see I get a nice little boost there. So timing is everything. So now I've got my stars. I can stick to the walls. Let's give it one more try. There's my star. Now I've got to find my way to the house. So I'm using my arrow keys and the shift key at the same time. Takes a little practice. So you want to kind of get some thrust. Now I'm up and I'm out. So I'll skip ahead to a few levels and you can see how these get more complicated in just a sec. Okay, so we've skipped ahead to level 6. You can see how if I now step on one of these positive charges, now when I hit the shift key, I basically get a super speed to go to the next section. So if I want to jump and change the direction of these arrows using my shift key and the up arrow, I can then go to the door and finish that level. Next level is introduced with charging. So now you have these little blue sections. So here is where timing comes in. So if I come down and then hit shift, I can kind of make a little loop-de-loop and learn how to do magnetic fields. So if I go across and then hold shift, you can see how I get a little jump. I died there, so let's try that again. So this is really all about timing. So I'm going to use the arrow and then the shift key, and then I can go on. So every level has a new concept that's introduced, and learn how to use charges. And now you can see there's some obstacles with little bombs going across. So students get really engaged in trying to get as far as they can. I've had students get up to in the 20s. I think the highest level is 45. So there are lots of increasingly more challenging puzzles to solve with this. And then I'll show you how to do a level editor where students can make their own levels. So I've been playing some levels. You can see I've completed getting full stars. If I come back, I can see how many levels there are to go. So you can't unlock a new level until you finish the previous one. This helps students from trying to jump ahead before they've learned concepts. Basically done through scaffolding. So there's 45 levels in all. If I click on the house up at the top, I can then go to Level Editor and create my own levels. So if I want to create a new level, this is where students get to use their creativity and start applying some of the concepts that they learned. So clicking on the pencil brings me up to some of my editing tools. So if I go to charges, I always start with basic. You should have pretty much one exit portal, a little archway, 3 stars, which is how most of these levels include. And then if I click on elements, if I click on one and then click and drag, you can see I can make myself some obstacles to try to get past. These things break. These obstacles are good. Okay, so I'll put one here. So the ones that have the cracks are a little more challenging. I can add some bombs somewhere. I can add some wood crates. And then if I scroll across, you have different charges. This is what they learned in some of the earlier levels. Guns will shoot little bombs going across to have to time it right to get across some of those obstacles. Switches get introduced in some of the levels in the high teens and the 20s. Then they get introduced to metal. So some of these students may not have had practice using yet. So it depends on how many levels they've completed before you would let them start editing their own. So if I want to include a door up here at the top, make this pretty basic, I'll add a couple stars. Okay, and then once you close this, the level is then ready to be played. So if I have my Shocktopus, there's 1, there's 2. Trying to get up. Looks like my level's not quite there. So what I may need to do is go to my editor and add some charges to make this a little easier. So if I come in here and change this block to an up and maybe put one in here, you'll see that now this should help me get through this level. So there's my star. So you can see that the charges help you get through higher places. Didn't quite add it. One more thing I forgot. So if I come back here, instead of using a crumbling door, you can't exit the door if the floor is falling away. So now let's try that again. So I've got my shift key to turn on my charge. Up arrow lets me jump. You can see how high, and then walking through the door. Now, I'm one of these people that likes to make sure I grab all the stars first. So I'm using my positive charge. And if I come up, now you can see that I've exited. So students can start playing the game by going through the levels, learning what all of the tools are, and then letting them go and create their own levels for other students to try. Electric Shocktopus, like I said, is one of the favorite games that students had. So now if I exit the lesson and go back to online, I can see who's been playing. My name is highlighted in green. And then if I scroll down, I can see how many levels that I've finished. So you can see that I've done level 1, level 2, level 5, 6, 7, and 8. So this helps you monitor students. So then when you're done playing the game, you can then go to share and discuss, have a little discussion. How far did students get? Did they get all the stars at each level? Anything that they didn't understand? So this is your check for understanding, and then when you complete the lesson is finished. Coming back to the Teacher Gaming Desk app, you can then rate it. Okay, then if I go back to the app, you can see that the game is now ready to be launched again, and there's no more screen that says lesson in progress. So that is how Electric Shocktopus works. Take some time, play, and explore. Thanks for watching.